Good evening and thank you for joining us for Krempton News at 10 tonight. I'm Mark Hanrahan. A coroner says a body found in Wyoming is that of Gabby Petito, who went missing while on a cross-country road trip with her fiance. Police are still searching for him. CBS News correspondent Jerika Duncan reports from Venice, Florida tonight.
A coroner is calling the death of 22-year-old Gabby Petito a homicide, but did not release a cause. FBI agents visited the coroner's office in Wyoming Tuesday afternoon, where an autopsy was performed, confirming a body found in a national park was Petito.
We take this Woodfield.
As many as 8 agencies are searching a large nature reserve in Florida on the ground and from the air for her fiance, Brian Laundrie. He told his family he was going there for a hike last week and hasn't been seen since.
Terrain's very difficult. Essentially 75% of it's underwater, and other areas that are dry we're trying to clear.
Police say Laundrie is a person of interest after the couple left for their road trip in mid-June, but only Laundrie came home 2.5 months later.
And he would have let me in the car.
There were signs of trouble on August 12th. Police pulled them over in Moab, Utah after getting calls about domestic violence.
And I was apologizing to him and saying, I'm sorry that I'm so mean.
3 scratches on your neck. You got 1 on the left side of your neck.
Petito admitted to hitting Laundrie and says he then grabbed her by the face and pushed her away.
I'm fine, and I look good. I hope she doesn't have too many complaints about me.
Police are also following up on tips of possible sightings of Laundrie. Jerika Duncan, CBS News, Venice, Florida.
The nationwide attention in the Gabby Petito case has renewed calls from activists to also remember the missing and murdered Indigenous women from all over the country. Here in Washington, Mary Johnson, also known as Mary Davis, went missing last November. Her family put up billboards with her picture in hopes of finding some answers. Police say she was on the way to a friend's home on the Tulalip Reservation and never arrived. The FBA now offering a $10,000 reward for anyone with any information about her location or her disappearance. Mary, turns out, is just one of 115 Indigenous men and women who are currently missing in the state of Washington. From Spokane alone, 11 people are missing. Washington has the second highest number of missing Indigenous women and girls. Seattle has the highest number of missing women and girls in the entire country. Major crimes detectives are investigating after a body was found near the Downriver Golf Course today. The Spokane Fire Department got a call at around 2:30 this afternoon after a passerby who was fishing in that area found the body. We don't know a whole lot about how he got there, but here's what we do know. Is identified as a white male in his 30s, early 30s. The medical examiner will ultimately identify him. According to the Spokane Police Department, he did not appear to be in the water for a very long time. This is still a developing story. We will continue to update you once we get the newest information. Also new tonight, troopers say 2 people have died in a car crash near Loon Lake. Washington State Patrol is now investigating the crash. Highway 292 was closed in both directions west of Loon Lake. The crash has now been cleared from that area. A day after the Washington State Department of Health confirmed it's looking into opening 2 COVID testing sites in Spokane, we are hearing from the company that would be tasked with running those sites. KREM 2's Morgan Trow spoke with Discovery Health today. And Morgan, what are they saying about their plans?
Mark, although it is in the very early stages, Discovery Health has partnered with the Department of Health to set up 2 COVID-19 testing sites here in Spokane. Let's go into depth about what this region is facing, and then I'll break down what these sites are going to look like.
The Washington Department of Health is concerned with the lack of workers they have to administer tests and also work in hospitals as COVID-19 hospitalizations continue to surge.
Everyone is strapped for resources everywhere, both personnel and supply chain.
Right now, the pandemic in Spokane is the worst it has ever been. But Discovery Health's Daniel Pulse says they were recruited to help the eastern portion of the state. His team is potentially opening 2 COVID testing sites, both at local community colleges. The first at Spokane Community College and the other at Spokane Falls. These testing sites could be ready in as soon as 3 weeks to a month. He says they will start at 500 tests a day, and these are the PCR tests, so they will take 24 to 48 hours to get back to you. At first, the testing will just be drive-through and will be done in your nasal cavity, not all the way up your nose. If you have insurance, make sure to bring your ID because it will be free. If you don't have any form of identification, the DOH is prepared to pay for your test. Pulse added that this site is to stop the spread specifically, not for travel or purposes other than feeling sick or being around someone who has or had COVID.
This site is going to be fairly specific to people who are symptomatic. Obviously, we're not turning people away, but given the limited resources, we hope that people will utilize this when they need it.
Right now, they are looking for employees from Eastern Washington to help push their program forward. Per each site, they are looking for a site manager who already has experience running drive-through operations, a handful of admins to help people check in, and a couple of sample collection staff, preferably with medical experience.
He says the quicker the team gets the staffing, the quicker the testing sites will be set up. And if you want to apply for any of these positions, go to the website discoveryhealthmd.com/Spokane jobs. You should see that at the bottom of your screen right now. But if you don't, all of this information is already on our website. So you can also get the details by texting the word test to 509-448-2000. In the newsroom tonight, Morgan Traub, Crime 2 News.
Morgan, thank you very much. Meantime, in North Idaho, the Panhandle Health District says they are seeing about 300 COVID cases per day, but staff can't keep up with the processing. According to a spokesperson with the health district, about 900 cases are unprocessed right now. They say the backlog of cases is really over the course of the past 3 days. The Department of Health and Welfare predicts there will be 30,000 new cases per week in Idaho by mid-October. They are also seeing a record number of ICU patients. Right now, 43 people are in intensive care at Kootenai Health, and to put that into perspective, their ICUs are licensed for 26 beds under normal circumstances. And as more people in Idaho fill hospital beds, Governor Brad Little announcing that he will be giving $10 million in relief funding. That money will be used to address the growing needs in Idaho hospitals. The governor's office did not indicate how the $10 million would be ultimately distributed. We'll keep you posted on that one. On the vaccine front, Johnson & Johnson says new studies confirm its single-shot vaccine provides strong protection against serious illness and death even after 6 months. That includes protection from the Delta variant. Johnson & Johnson is also developing a booster shot now. The company says if that shot is given 6 months after the first one, it causes a 12-fold increase in the antibodies that we need to fight the virus. J&J has not yet submitted that data to the FDA. Let's talk weather, shall we? Today was the last full day of summer, but the warm weather not leaving just yet. Let's get straight to meteorologist Thomas Patrick. And Thomas, my goodness, we could see 80 degrees again this week.
Yeah, maybe just summer's last gasp at us, with tomorrow being the first day of fall. But otherwise, this is very pleasant weather that we're setting up for the remainder of this week. It was just into the 70s for today. A lot more of that for the week ahead. Looking at a bit of cloud cover just off to our west, so a small disturbance moving through tomorrow. And it's nice to be nitpicky about the forecast. Let's put it that way. Maybe a little extra cloud cover, a little bit breezier, maybe a little bit cooler tomorrow. But all that is pretty minor when you've looked at some of the active weather that we've seen over the previous 90 days in the summer. There's that cloud cover. It starts to move in pretty early tomorrow, so it will end up being a rather cloudy day and just a little bit on the breezy side. But for this weekend and for the last stages of September, we are trending warmer than average. That could lead to some 80s before the month is through. So coming up, I'm going to detail when you're going to see some 80s and when we might have some small rain chances along the way as well.
Sounds good, Thomas. We'll take to you later in the broadcast. The nationwide school bus shortage continues to impact students right here in Spokane. Parents of students at the Libby Center said their kids would have had to wait more than an hour and a half because their bus was running that far behind schedule today. Megan Lewis has 2 kids attending Libby Center this year. She told us earlier today that her kid's bus was 10 to 15 minutes late when she decided to call the school, who then confirmed with her the bus was in fact running late. Then a few minutes later, she says she got a call saying that bus was actually going to be an hour and 40 minutes late.
I think it's stressful because I can't really plan the day fully. I always kind of have to have it in the back of my mind that they might not get picked up and I need to have a plan B, whatever that's going to be. So.
Lewis and another parent said there were 10 kids waiting at the bus stop this morning. She says a parent ended up driving some of them to class. So we asked SPS a number of questions regarding the impacts of the driver shortage and any steps we're taking right now to alleviate these problems. Spokane Public Schools spokesperson Sandra Gerard sent us the following statement in response earlier today. Quote, as has been previously shared and reported, the national bus shortage has impacted many school districts across the state. We are working to mitigate the impact to families and are making adjustments to school bus routes, she said. We also reached out to Durham via email today for a comment, but have not yet heard back. All right, still ahead tonight, several schools in Washington are getting poor grades for air ventilation. It's a story you'll only see right here on KREM 2, and it's a story that will reveal what's happening and what schools are doing to improve the air that your kids breathe. Plus, an update to a fire forcing evacuations in Ferry County tonight. It grew to more than 100 acres in the past couple of hours. We'll be back in 90 seconds.